I received an urgent call from my housekeeper. Someone was trying to break down her door. It was amazing how fast he was. There wasn't time to think.
The suspect is dead after a late night
started at my door with a pistol in his hand.
Back and shot breaking into her home.
911, what is your emergency?
A citizen, just like a police officer, have the right to defend themselves or defend others if they're in death or serious bodily injury, and that right extends to using deadly force.
I've always had one overriding question. Why? Why my house? Why her house? Why? Why me? You're surprised it happens to you in this small town, in your neighborhood. It's always happening somewhere else. And now we know that it happens everywhere. And I think you make a conscious decision not to be a victim. I was born in Nevada, just outside Las Vegas, raised in California, San Diego. I was raised by my aunt. She was actually with the Billy Graham Mission Society, and she ended up being a missionary in Israel for 40 years. I still do missionary work. I was in the Army, Vietnam era. I was a combat medic, a surgical technician in a MASH unit. Ended up being a game warden and working at the university in British Columbia for about 20 years. I'm a writer. I have a column. I do hunting and fishing stories, and I get to travel around the world. I think some people just have the ability to be very cool under extreme situations. I'm able to do that. I didn't expect it here. We're in a small town here. We don't even lock our doors. I've never had a trespasser to my knowledge. It's a very peaceful community. I'd never heard of anything like this. This was a first.
Hello? Is anybody out there?
Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. Hold on. Hello? Hello?
I received an urgent call at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning from my housekeeper, who was living in my guest house. Her husband had just left for work, and she and her 7-year-old daughter were home alone.
Tom, somebody's trying to break down the door.
She had terror
What?
in her voice.
All right, call 911. I'll be right there.
She was like a daughter to me, and like any father, I just grabbed the pistol and then went to help.
Somebody's trying to break down our door. 111 Narrator Drive.
I received an urgent call from my housekeeper, who was living in my guest house. Someone was trying to break down her door. It was dark out. It's black. I went out onto the golf course and came in from the dark. I made a conscious decision in the route that I took. I didn't want to just barge up to her door and confront someone with a pistol. I tried to see if there was anyone around her door or around the building. I saw no one. So I went up to the door, knocked on the door, and asked her to let me in.
It's Tom.
Is there anybody out there? Did you see anybody?
She let me in, and I saw that she was very frightened, and her daughter was hanging onto her, also frightened. We came from the guest house, which is about 40 yards from the main house, and we wanted to make it over to what we felt was a safer area in my home. And as the police arrived, they came immediately. It wasn't 5 minutes, and they had 2 police cars there.
Yes. Hold it, sir. Put that gun down. Put that gun down. Put the gun down.
Mr. Huggins, is everybody okay?
Yes. What's going on? We've got somebody here. It's an intruder. He's trying to get to the girl.
Is everybody okay right now?
We're fine. We need to find him. He's out here somewhere.
What? Get them in the house.
Okay, I will. Let's go. Come on. Come on.
I brought her over to the house and laid the pistol down. They go through the house, the guest house. They also look through the main house on the other property and see that the doors had been jammed and there was someone had tried to break down the doors. They searched the entire property, all of the storage sheds and around the area, in the trees and then across the street. They did a perimeter search and found nothing. He was gone. They took their cars and were going to drive the neighborhood, looking for someone walking, looking for anything strange. I felt secure in my home, and all of the police lights around the neighborhood, I felt it was over.
Show negative contact on Xenia at this point. I'll be heading now south toward the flag, continue ATL.
I didn't know they had found nothing. I wasn't sure what they would find. My job was to calm down my housekeeper and her daughter.
Okay.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, they're searching the area, but it's going to be okay. There we go.
It's just starting to get light. I asked her, I said, go and make a pot of tea. She was making a pot of tea as I was talking to the little girl and letting her know that everything was fine.
Tom, someone's here.
What? Oh, okay.
Obviously assumed it was the police that came to report and tell me they had found someone or hadn't found someone. So I went to the kitchen door. On the other side of that door, to my amazement, was a hooded, masked person. And I don't know why I said it, but I said, go away.
Get her, go in the bathroom right now.
I said to my housekeeper, quick, run to the back. And she knew what to do because we had an escape plan. I immediately ran to where I had laid down the pistol, and before I could get back to the kitchen, he had smashed through the window, opened the door, and was in the middle of my kitchen. It was almost immediate. It was amazing how fast he was. Standing in the middle of my kitchen, coming towards me. There wasn't time to think. I raised the pistol and pulled the trigger and shot him. The impact of the bullet blew him out the door. He raised his hand and turned his body just enough that it just pierced underneath his arm. I picked up the telephone and called the police again, 911, and said, he came back, I just shot him. He's probably outside. And I really expected him to be laying outside. He was not there. He was not outside the door. He was not on the street. He was just not to be found. They didn't catch him. He had a friend pick him up, and he left town. A week later, he came back in a high-speed chase in a stolen car. They caught him. 15 minutes to a half hour after an incident like that, fear sets in, shaking sets in. Your heart is racing. Finally, you realize the enormity of the situation. And you start thinking at that time, what could have happened? Could have raped them both. Raped little girl, raped her, killed them both. And no one would have known until that evening when her husband came home from work. He was on drugs, he was on speed, and he had a history of narcotics. The police knew him. He had a reputation. And I never hesitate to point out that this could have ended much differently if it had not been for the cell phone, a firearm, and a plan. I think every family should have an action plan, have an escape plan, or a hide plan. Since the event, I think my belief that people should have firearms available has only been reaffirmed. And I think that we're at a point now in our culture and in our country where you cannot isolate yourself from the violence that's happening all around us. You make a conscious decision that you want to have a firearm just in case, so that you can protect yourself and your family. But have training with it too. Learn the safety, keep it safe, but have it available. I've lived all over the world. We are the most magnificent country on earth because of our freedoms. And certainly one of those freedoms, we're talking about the Second Amendment. America is certainly the leader in the world. We are the only country that has a true living Bill of Rights and a Constitution. There are many constitutions, but they're given lip service. Our Constitution is real. We believe in it. We're quite a remarkable country.